guys, and welcome back to Battlefield 4 at E3 2013. I'm joined by Alex, and he is very conscious about his hair, you know, but it looks glorious. You look adorable. It is a wonderful look that you got going for you right now.
I can see myself on camera. I don't usually do that. So
yeah. Well, so this is Alex. He is one of the guys who works over at DICE and is one of the game developers for Battlefield 4. Why don't you tell people what you do and what you, I guess, what you do for DICE on a day-to-day basis?
So basically, I take care of Battlefield 4's multiplayer. I take care of the team that produces that.
Okay.
So what do? I try to make sure we're working on the right things and make sure that everything is as it should be on the game
Everything
itself.
works.
Yeah. Exactly.
And I also understand that you were the hero in the multiplayer review. You were the guy who was piloting the main character that we were following, all the drama, the tension, and the suspense. That was all you.
That was me.
I have to ask you though, that was definitely a really cool showing of it. How was it being on the stage with all those people watching you, and play Battlefield for I mean hundreds of people in the audience?
Hundreds. I think there was like thousands.
Maybe, yeah, probably thousands.
Yeah.
I mean, I was being very generous. You know what I mean? It probably was thousands, but yeah. So tell me a little bit about that.
So this was a not simple thing to pull off. We spent quite a lot of time rehearsing this.
Okay.
Because what we wanted to do with this demo was to try to create a demo that kind of hit on a few new things that we're trying to do with this game.
Of course.
Trying to highlight them so people can at least, oh, that's cool, that's cool, that's cool. And typically, you won't be able to hit them if you're not doing this kind of rehearsed flow through a multiplayer match, because then you just run around and die, and maybe you don't see the event, maybe you do. So it was a way for us to try to show, okay, so how do we show multiplayer in a new and interesting way?
Yeah.
So that's what we did. So we did tons of rehearsal. We actually came over last week from Wednesday, and we did like Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. We started with a small group of people. We added more, so 30, and then we were 64.
There were a lot of people on that stage, but it was really cool to see all the people, like go crazy as soon as that camera lifted. Yeah. Everyone was like, "Oh my God, this is happening. This is real." Yeah. So now, as far as just the reception here at the convention floor, we've had lines. I mean, the line, it's still, guys, the line is like down there, way down there. And how's the reception been from the players so far, from your perspective?
From my perspective, people seem quite happy about it.
Okay.
I feel a bit sad for people standing in line and only getting to play 15 minutes. I enjoy this map as much as I've been playing it over, and I still discover, new facets, new ways to kind of use this map for fun. So they stand in line for 15 minutes, and they only get to like taste a very small portion.
A morsel.
Yeah, exactly. And I feel like we have so much more to show you guys.
Of course.
You won't be able to experience it all. So, but from what my gut feeling, or what I'm picking up here, is that people think it's really cool and enjoy it. And, hopefully we'll pick up a few new fans as well here.
Well, I certainly hope so. Just want to give a huge shout out to the people watching at home. I was told we have like 50,000 people watching us on Twitch TV, as well as Amazon. That is a new thing. We're on the Amazon.com page there for games.
Cool.
For the E3 coverage. It really is something amazing to be a part of. Now, in talking about Battlefield and talking about just like the scope of the game, I had a chance to talk with Patrick about this, but I also want to get your perspective of it as well. The guys at DICE obviously know that with every new iteration of Battlefield, they have to push the boundaries more and more. You can't just settle on just re-releasing something.
No.
I guess what were the planning? What was the planning going into just Levolution and the sea combat and all these things? Like, I mean, how was it at DICE? How crazy it must have been?
So, what typically happens is that when we release a game, we feel really bad about it.
Okay, why is that?
Because there's tons of things that we didn't get time to do.
Okay.
So, the best ideas typically come up while you're developing it. Oh, what would be cool if we could do this and that, and if we could have commander mode and blah, blah, blah. And then suddenly you can't do it, right? Because there's time. So, what we did after BF3 was shipped, we took a look at the game and said, like, okay, what is the main problems with the game? And then we identified a few things that we needed to take care of, and we started, okay, so how do we add features that make sense towards you know, fixing those goals that we set for ourselves. So
Yeah.
that's kind of how we kind of started the process. And of course, Commander mode has been around. You know, we wanted to do it like for ages.
Yeah.
So it's not something that we decided not to do. It's just something that finally we had the time to do it. And I think that, you know, by bringing it to a tablet as well, that really shines through that you can experience it in different ways and stuff.
Yeah, and I was pleasantly surprised when I saw that. I didn't even notice it. It was so seamless at the event itself, where you had you had this one individual coming up with the tablet, and they were just like, oh, you know, I'm just gonna drop some artillery right there. It was awesome. So the Commander mode obviously is a feature you guys always wanted to put into the game. You guys saw it, by the way, when we were coming down from the camera there. There was a shot of the Commander Station on Reddit as well, because I'm reading the Reddit thread, guys. I'm out there. I'm checking everything out, getting ingrained into the community, because the Battlefield community as a whole is a very, very vocal and intelligent community. The Commander Mode station is amazing. Now, in designing Commander Mode, one thing that I do want to ask about, the Commander himself is not a physical character in the map.
Correct.
Right? In the original Commander mode, he was. The Commander was an actual physical player in it.
Right.
What led to that design change, if you don't mind talking about that? And also, which I like it, by the way. I think it makes sense. You know, you're out there, right? You're not in the fray. And also just, I guess, how Commander mode itself is really going to impact the players who we see are gearing up right now.
So I think that we wanted Commander mode to be like something that you spend your whole time doing.
Okay.
And if you spend your whole time doing it, there's no sense of why you should be in the world itself.
Okay.
Also, we open another space for another player to be in that map.
That is true.
Instead of taking up one of the 64-player slots. But we wanted to make sure that the Commander mode was so interesting that, like I said, keep playing it. There's if you speak about actions per minute, that's something we talked about. You know, how many things do I need to do? Yes. How many things do we want you to do per minute?
Okay.
I think we're getting to the point where we have the things to do that, like, you're not Counter-Strike. No, sorry, you're not StarCraft thing, like a super thing. But you are, you're doing like interesting choices every 10-15 seconds, maybe even less if there's things happening. So it's like, okay, a squad's doing this thing. You need to launch that. You need to come up and deploy the gunship. And you can do the radar scan, the radar jam. So if you want to do something, you can do something pretty much constantly. But the idea is that you're supposed to convey this information, what's going on, as you have the kind of oversight to your squads, and they can react on that. And,
without a doubt. Yeah, and the other cool part about it is how the players, again, impacted, right, in capturing flags, like we saw in the gameplay, which we'll probably be bringing up in a little bit here. You know, and actually there you can see it. When you capture a territory or flag, you gain something for the commander to use. I think that was, you know, a pleasant thing, a pleasant surprise for myself. I was like, oh, that's really cool. Like that really does change things up quite a bit. Now, and also, I do want to ask you a little bit about this as well. You know, Commander mode in itself, that is something that is going to be across the map, like all maps, correct?
Yes.
And every map is going to have its own, I guess, impact on Commander mode, correct? Yes. So that is actually some pretty cool stuff. I'm pretty sure a lot of the community is really stoked about.
Yeah, I never liked the fact that you know, you had it in the main base. Back in Battlefield 2, you had all your assets in the main base, and there was no reason to capture flags other than to win the match. We wanted to give it, you know, incentive for the commander to capture flags and actually get his squads to do it. It's just, we want, in general, we want actually to get the feeling that that you were helping the commander and the commander was helping you. And that's the feeling we're trying to convey, that you become better if you follow orders, and the commander becomes better when you follow orders, and then he can reward you back with various upgrades and you know, drop some things down to you and to your squad. That's kind of like a win-win.
Or win-win situation.
Yeah, exactly, for both parts.
Yeah, and that's really cool, you know, that relationship that is created between the players on the ground and the commander, especially if it's an organized group, too, because that's something that Battlefield really prides itself on. When you get in there with a big group of friends and you organize, you know, your game session, having a commander, a designated commander, could really change things up a bit, if I don't say so myself.
Yeah.
So really excited about all that stuff. Now, another thing that I want to ask you in regards to just what you do, you did say that you were involved in just like all facets of the development of Battlefield 4. What's your favorite thing? What is the thing that you look at it and you're like, I love this. This is awesome.
Oh, that's easy. That's when I get to playtest the game.
When you get the playtest?
Yeah, when we get the good playtest running.
Yeah.
That's the best. That's what my favorite part of the day.
Yeah.
So when you can see when all things come together, you can see the progress we made, and you just get to play. I'm a big Battlefield player. I've been playing Battlefield since the first game, and by stroke of luck, I suppose, I got to work on them myself. But 1942 was a big moment for me.
Yeah.
And I still enjoy these games. I play it quite a lot. Probably there's not as much as you guys on, that's watching the feed right now. But I think I clocked like 150 hours. But
you played quite a bit Battlefield.
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah, a little bit.
I wish I could do more, actually.
Well, you know what? You create the experiences for everyone to enjoy.
Yeah. I
know that the community is eternally grateful to what you guys have done. And really, this has been an awesome showing for Battlefield 4. It's like and like you had mentioned before, how DICE is always just pushing themselves further. You can see it. You can see it with Battlefield 4 that you guys are really you're not resting on your laurels. Like, and don't get me wrong, there are plenty of other things that I know fans out there are going to be like, oh, they should have done this. But when you really think about it, you guys put so much into this game, and there's still more to put into it.
Yes.
There's still more work to be done because we're only showing pre-alpha today, right?
Of course,
that's crazy.
There's tons more stuff that isn't in this build, of course, that will keep revealing over time.
Yeah.
And there's tons of stuff that we didn't get to do. Even now, I realized there's like, okay, then we have to remove some stuff that I wanted to do.
Yeah.
But that goes straight onto the idea shelf for next game.
For the next one, right?
Yeah,
and that is the cool part. You guys are always thinking of what's next, what's to come. So as we look here, we see some of the action going down. Now, when you guys get together for your playtest sessions, how do you guys organize your attack here? Do you guys always go to destroy the skyscraper? Do you try and defend it so that this way you can get the upper ground? What is the idea here for an attacking squad? What do you guys think?
I think that the key here is to hold the skyscraper. And the reason I'm saying that is because you can paradrop into pretty much any base you want from there. So if you get infantry up into the top of the skyscraper, they can pretty much access the whole map, which is a huge tactical advantage in this map.
Now, the other thing I'm curious about, how do you go about defending the skyscraper, right? The bottom portion of it. I know it's a big thing is, keeping armor out, not pushing around it, but what do you guys do?
So first of all, I think you need to control the bay. If you're using a boat to control the bay area and not have people trying to take the building down, to keep the skyscraper intact is if you have the top of the skyscraper, you want to keep it. That's probably and then you need to control the bay because that's where the weak points of the skyscrapers are. Oh.
Poor guy.
Yeah.
You don't take a gun to a car fight. I mean, really, so you do want to control the bay. Also, when you secure C, you also get the gunship, which, if your commander is paying attention, you can deploy, and that could cause a lot of problems. Now, can the gunship attack land vehicles as well?
Yes.
Is it that effective?
Yes. The gunship is mainly a ground attack vehicle, so to basically have access to these cannons that you can shoot down on ground, quite powerful cannons that you use. The thing is that if you take the skyscraper down, there's another incentive to take it down if you're on the other team.
Oh no, they left him.
Because then you get all this dust that covers the map.
Yeah, we did talk about that.
Yeah, it makes it a little bit difficult for the gunners in a gunship to actually hit something on the ground. Then you're more required for people to spot things, and you need more intel basically in order to use that gunship really well. So I would say the tactic B is like capture the skyscraper and keep it.
And also, don't destroy your helicopters.
Also, don't destroy your helicopters.
You really, really do need your helicopters.
Yes.
So we are looking here, Bravo 30, one of the 64 players that are playing in this play session right now. And you can see the Bravo Commander up top, Commander Mode, the feature that has been brought back from Battlefield in the past and has received a lot of praise from the community. From what I understand, a lot of people are like, I just want to play it. I just want to mess around with that. It certainly is a very cool feature. So when you look at what the commander could do, how, if you don't mind me asking, how do you guys go about choosing who is the commander? Is that something that is being done right now? Like, think like, okay, how are we going to implement this in matchmaking and servers, or is it like teammates vote their play, their
So we will have a system that I think people will find fair. We just won't go into any specifics right now as we're kind of working our way through.
But a fair system is in place.
Fair system is in place. Yeah. So I think that you'll find it satisfactory in the way that we manage it. It's in the in the spirit of the previous system.
Obviously, there's a lot of new things that have been revealed, and there is a lot of stuff that, as time moves on, is going to be announced and shown. So, hopefully a lot of people out there are pleased with that, because, and I think that they will be. I think that they, I think they trust your judgment, your guys' judgment in bringing a fair and just system for Commander Mode. I know that I'm excited. I want to be a commander like all the time when I play this game. I actually don't. Don't get me wrong. I'm pretty good on the ground, but I just want to shoot some artillery at people. That's what I'm all about.
Yeah.
So now the other thing too is, have you guys just in the process of just talking about the scope of Battlefield 4, what is the one thing that you look at this game and you're thinking to yourself when you see it implemented, when you see it work, or when you put it in there and it started to work, you were just like, that's gonna be the hook right there. What is that hook that you think that is going to attract so many players to play to Battlefield 4?
So I guess I must only speak for myself. I can't really.
So what's your hook? What's
exactly.
your hook?
Let's base this on me. I think what you're seeing right now on the screen with the whole Levolution event that happened, and the fact that we're kind of dynamically changing the environment on the map over time, forcing you to kind of adapt to the situations. It's one of the things that I feel is most impactful and interesting to me as a player.
Okay.
It's kind of what I always wanted the Battlefield to be more like this, and once we finally got in this transition into a different environment, and this is to me one of the big game changers. You could imagine by we having this change going on this map. You could also, I guess, imagine that we could do something interesting on other maps as well. We won't do the same thing twice, but we can do interesting things with the environment.
So Levolution is like that thing that you saw and you're like, this is it. This is our hook. This is what I love, and I know that thousands of other people are gonna love this too.
Yeah, one of them, and I would say Levolution isn't a feature per se. It's more like an umbrella term or a design choice that we're trying to tie all the things together in the,
of course,
Levolution. So it's, but I think the other thing that excites me personally quite well is the fact that we get finally being 64 players on console.
Yes.
60 FPS.
Yes.
These things is a big thing for me. Something that I always were a bit sad that we hadn't before. And now finally we can do it, and then it excites me tremendously.
Let's talk about that, because you see, I am, I'm a console player through and through, and I know there are a lot of people that are watching right now that are console players as well.
Yep.
And they are thinking, oh, I want to get my next-gen console, and look at this, you got to see the Ballards in action right there. That tank cannot cross because of the fact that that Ballard is there. I love that. It just really balances things out. Doesn't allow the tanks to have free roam wherever they want to go. You keep on trying, guys, but
just get out.
Just go out, push the button, bro.
Yeah, exactly. It's right there.
Push the button.
And then get sniped.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, just waiting for someone to jump past.
So in looking at the console and bringing 64 players, what were the challenges with that? Were there any challenges, if at all?
There's tremendous challenges, both in engine and on content creator side.
I don't think this is a good idea.
No.
I don't know. I don't know, but we left them because we knew where that was going. That was going to go nowhere fast. And all they had to do was just push the button.
Exactly.
The little things in the game that I think really are awesome. So before we go into the little things, let's talk about this real quick. Let's talk about the next-gen consoles 64 player maps. Was that something that when you saw the PlayStation 4 and the Xbox One, you said we got to do this? This needs to be done.
I think that when we first heard about we were going into a new console transition, that was one of the first things that we said. You know what? We must do this. We must go 64 players, and we must go 60 FPS. That's the and since that's
that was the goal,
basically
the mission.
we decided that right there. It was just a natural fit, you could say. It's just something that I've always wanted to do, and so now we finally are able to do it.
Yeah.
And I know that's also been requested by quite a few people out there. That but what this really means for me personally is that finally console players can experience the battlefield that the PC players have done for quite some time.
Have been raving about, yeah.
Yeah, 60 FPS and so it's super exciting. That's one of the things that I think will make a difference for console players by quite a lot.
Now, how, if you don't mind me asking, how in depth are you, or I guess you could say, what are your thoughts on the customization? We saw a lot of cool attachments being Corey when we were messing around with it, like the canted scope, the green laser sight, the regular laser sight as well. Customization, that is certainly something that you guys are definitely embracing. As you did with Battlefield 3, is that, is what we're seeing right now, we're going to see more down the line? Is that like a taste of the treats that we're going to get when we hop into the battlefield?
Yeah, absolutely. I think, from top of my head, I don't remember how much pieces of customization you have right now, but
there's a lot.
It's so much more.
There's a lot.
We added customizations to sidearms, which I'm quite excited about.
Yeah, I actually saw that brought up in, actually, it was in Reddit, ironically enough. I was going through Reddit, and someone was like, did you notice that? And he had the pistol with the sight on it. So that's pretty cool. Definitely something very different for Battlefield that hasn't been done before. Do you like that personally? Is that like something that you think about? You're like, yeah, I really do enjoy scopes on my pistol.
I remember playing recently, and there's quite a few people. It was a point in time where the DICE people had access to a gun that no one else had access to, which I think it was like a gun with a silencer or something like that. And people were like, "Oh, Alex, you need to die so I can pick up your weapon and try it." You know, just for a sidearm that had a silencer on it. So I think that this is something that people wanted. I think they want that creativity to be, if I want the silencer, or if I want that scope on it, they can do it. If they don't want to do it, then it's fine. Then it won't change the game as much as perhaps customizing your main weapon. But it's definitely something that for those who really dive into the details and really want to cater to your specific experience, then that's something that I think people will appreciate quite a lot.
Yeah, and without a doubt, it really is something that I was pleasantly surprised by. I know a lot of other people were like, "Whoa, this is crazy," because again, like you said, it was a requested feature. It was something that people wanted to see before. And now it is being done finally. Yep. And then the other thing that I want to ask you about too is what we're about to see right now. We saw actually this player hop into the water, but you can go under the water now. Yes. What's up with that? I mean, how why put that into the game? Did you want to get those cool epic moments where they come through the swamp like a bunch of bad guys just doing their business?
No, it wasn't actually that. It was just when we started, we added these networked waves, right?
Okay.
So basically you can have big waves networked, so you can drive boats across, basically rolling sand dunes that are changing the environment all the time. So when we started to play around with, this in multiplayer specifically, and so we realized, it feels a bit stale now that you need to add more interesting things to do in the water.
Yeah.
Exactly. So one of the things that was a big problem in previous games when you were in water, you were basically a sitting duck for people to shoot you.
Yes.
So basically we wanted to, okay, so what can we do here? Okay, let's dive under and see, so you can swim for a little while, and basically that's a way for you to escape. The second thing there is that you can use your sidearm while swimming. And
okay.
Yeah, so you can shoot.
I hadn't seen anyone do that yet, so that's actually news to me, and quite awesome.
First.
As well. First, you look at that. Alex is breaking ground, folks. He's breaking ground. No, but seriously, Alex, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.
And I know that as soon as I go back and check the interwebs.
Yeah, they're gonna make posts about me.
Yeah, you're famous now, bro. You're famous. People want to know all about you.
Yeah.
And but you know, in closing, I guess if you had anything to say for the community, you know, what is it that you want to, I guess, share with them?
Which camera can I go for?
You go for that one right there. Go for that one right there. Whichever one you want.
Yeah, thank you so much for playing Battlefield 3, and thank you so much for your interest in Battlefield 4. You mean everything to us, really. I promise you that, and we do care. We do listen. And I can't wait for you guys to get your hands on Battlefield 4.
Awesome.
Thank you so much.
All right, well, Alex, thank you once again for your time. Guys, we're going to be right back with some more gameplay live from E3 2013. Battlefield 4 is here, and it is kicking butt, and everyone is loving it. So do not go anywhere. We're going to have more action coming at you live in just a little bit, live from E3 2013. I'm Alex Mendez. This is Alex. What's your last name?
Grondal.
Grondal. There we go. All right, guys. Well, we'll see you in a little bit. And don't go anywhere. Tell your friends. Battlefield 4 coming at you in a bit. Thanks, man.